Ow. Alright guys, for today's video, first of all, if I'm sound stuffy, it's that time of year. It is what it is. Second of all, if I look any more red or orange than usual in these videos, which I don't look as red as I normally do in these videos. I don't know why my camera does that, but if I look even more red, it's because I got my infrared heater going on right now, and I'm nice and toasty as long as I'm in front of it. If not, I'm freaking cold in the garage. Anyways, a few videos back, I did a video on how to center up your steering wheel without getting an alignment. During that video, I said that there's a steering shaft upgrade that you can do for these third gens F-bodies to get rid of the... Whew, I gotta turn this down. Hang on. That's on too high. Turn to a lower setting. Third gen F-bodies to get rid of the rag joint in the steering column, and that is to switch it to an Astrovan steering shaft. And that is what we're going to do today. So I have right here an Astrovan steering shaft that has been taken by someone who has access to them. I found them on thirdgen.org. I'll put the link to the thread, and I guess I'll put his email down there as well in case you want to reach out to see if you want to get this sort of thing upgraded as well. If not, you can kind of do it on your own. You just have to find... I couldn't even see where to even sell these new anymore, so you just have to find like a junkyard, which for me, and I live in like a very populous area, they seem to be harder and harder to come by. But you would get a Astrovan steering shaft, and on the end that ties into the steering column itself, you would have to take and pop off this knuckle on the top, turn it 90 degrees and kind of weld it in place. And you can do it on your own, or you can just pay money for someone who has a line on it that will do it for you. Whatever. I got two of them because I got two cars, obviously. I will work on this one eventually. And so I got a little bit of a discount. I'll put that thread in there and the email in there for this if you want to do this upgrade. But as you can see, this is a telescoping steering shaft now that gets rid of the rag joint, take out all the vibrations. And then on top of that too, what we're going to do is we're going to change out the lower steering column bearing. So I got this from Screaming Chicken. This is a new piece, a new roller bearing in here. OER also makes them. I think you can also get them from Hawks. This seemed to be the best price, Screaming Chicken. I'll put that link in the description. And where this goes is, if we look up here, flashlight, right up there below, there we go, right there below the brake booster is the bushing, or the bearing that's kind of in there, but really is more like a bushing stock-wise. On stock on these, it is just a nylon, essentially a nylon bushing that sits under there under a cap with a clip on it that kind of holds the steering shaft from wobbling at the bottom. You'll have the bearing up at the top of the steering shaft right behind the steering wheel, and then you have the bottom bearing down here. Those keep the steering shaft centered. Those ones can wear out because they are nylon, so you replace it with a full roller bearing to take any of the slop you may have out of the steering column itself. And then you replace the rag joint with this, and your steering feel should feel much better. So first and foremost though, what we got to do is we got to remove the steering shaft. If you didn't see my last video, I'll just tell you. Up here at the top, dang it, right there at the top, 15 millimeter, down here underneath the plastic little guard here, rag joint guard, I guess you would call it. It will be a 7/16. Just gotta get this thing out of the way without trying to rip my hands up. Alright, disgusting. But anyways, I will pry this out of the way, and then I'll show you real quick where that bolt is. It's 7/16 down here. You just undo that. You'll take a pry bar, pry this end up after this bolt is out too, and it'll slide the steering shaft up onto the shaft. You pop out the steering box, and then you pull the whole thing out the bottom. Okay, so let's go ahead and go about doing that. Pull the air cleaner out of the way to try and make it a little easier for you guys to see. I have a rag over top of the carb, which will become apparent here in pretty short order. But first and foremost, let's get these bolts out of the steering shaft. You may or may not be able to see it all that much. I'll link the other video in the description, or actually I'll put up there in the cards, to for a little better angles of how to do this. You see all the slop in the column right here in the steering shaft? I don't know if you can see it as it's moving as I'm doing this. So. There's a through bolt out on the top, and right down here, right behind the kind of air compressor from where you are, or the AC compressor, I should say. Right there where the light is, that bolt right there. That's when we're taking out 7/16. That bolt is out. Now I'll take the pry bar. Here. Pop this out. Okay. It's much easier to get off this time since I just broke her free like a couple weeks ago. Now we have to slide this all the way back. Now try to get this off. There we go. It's out. Okay. Steering shaft out. There we go. So here's the rag joint. And you can see how probably, let's see if I got all this play and stuff in here. Easier said than done holding in one hand, but there's a lot of play. Trust me, actually, here's a little clip of just me sitting there of how much play is in the steering shaft. So anyways, this is out compared to new in here. So we can see much different, much smaller in size, save a lot of room. So let's move this old one out of the way. You can see right here that bearing we're going to replace. So there's a, where's my finger? Come in here. Come here, finger. Oh, there it is. Okay, right there. There's a little clip that will pop out, and then this whole outer ring will slide off with the bearing itself, and then we'll slide the new one on there and just clip it into place. Position this without it going anywhere. That'd be great. Oh, there you go. That'll help. Probably lose it though. First and foremost, I have to clean my shaft. No, none of that, no. You hijacked my last video about trying to lube up throttle cable. Don't need any more of that damn shit. Let me hit this with some brake clean or something. Get my hand in there. Look around this camera to do this. Clip. There's the clip. Out of housing, the bushing should come out. We have to pry it out. My shaft may be a little dirty compared to others.
That's what she said.
Oh, there goes my flashlight. Anyways, I'll be back once I get this out. Okay, I got the new one in there. It took a good bit of prying. Oh, there's a light. I had to scrape all the funk off the steering shaft to get it out. And actually, to my surprise, when I took it out, it was already a roller bearing, but if you can see right there, focus, it's missing missing one of the balls in there. So I don't know where that went, but you can see this thing was caked up and crusty. All right, I did retain the clip that came with on it originally because it was just more stout than this one. It was a little bit beefier, so I figured why not. But I replaced a little retaining lock piece on there back there. Okay, so now the reason I have the carb covered up is because the stock steering shaft, where did I put it? Down here. The bolt goes through the side, through the actual steering column itself. You see a hole there on the side. It goes through the side there. On the Astrovan shaft, it does not do that. It, where are you? Actually bolts externally to it. So if you look right here, you'll see the bolt right there, and that bolt has to be clearanced ever so slightly. Well, I'm sorry, the steering column has to be clearanced ever so slightly to allow that bolt to pass through. It's really not a lot there, but you can see that we'll have to clearance it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this shaft, I'm going to slide it up on there, mark where I need to go about cutting it, and do it. But also too, this one was rotated, I think, 90 degrees in the wrong direction. So now, as opposed to this bolt being on top, to make it easier, it's actually going to be on the bottom side of the bottom side of the steering column in relation to where it ties into the steering box. Like that one will still be pointing up, but this one will be on the bottom. So I have to make sure that I clearance it on the opposite side of the steering shaft. So I'm going to slide that on there now and start marking it. Hell, let's set my marker. There it is. Okay, I have in my little Dremel style tool. I don't even know what you call this sort of thing if it's not an actual Dremel name brand. But I have this abrasive ball, and I'm just going to take and I'm going to lock the steering column. I'll do that. Assuming I locked it in the right spot when I couldn't see it. Yep. So that will keep the steering column from moving as I go ahead and I grind this away. Don't know how much you'll be able to see, but this is what we're going to be doing. All right, I turned it sideways and locked it in. You can see how much I had to kind of clearance it there. It didn't take a long time. What took the longest time was figuring out what bolt to actually use, or not bolt, what abrasive disc to actually use to get through it. This is one I worn out a lot at the top. This is what I ended up using. Man, I'm stuffy now. So yeah, so now all I'm gonna do is put the shaft back on there. Slide it on this side. Okay. Now I can take the bolt. Find the bolt. I just dropped the bolt. Oh, son of a bitch. Well, I got this other one to use real quick. So this new bolt, oh, there we are. This is 11 millimeter. You see it tightened up through there. Oh, there we are. So I will now set you down real quick so I can twist and lock the, well, I can probably do this here at one time. I just need to turn it 90 degrees. That should be it. Yeah, one-handed stuff. Pain in the ass. Okay, so now I will tighten that bolt down. I can take, well, I don't want to do that yet because then the steering wheel will be all upside down. So I'll go ahead and tighten that bolt down, and then we will spin it over and put the other end on. Okay, got the top. Oh, my head's right in the oil light. Got the top all tightened down. You can, if you want to, put some Loctite on these bolts, but in actuality, just by the nature of these, I'll show you. These joints right here, when you tighten the bolt down, it's going to squeeze these joints, which is going to start angling the threads so they bite into each other. So unless you have it in there super loose, you really shouldn't have to worry about them backing out. So do whatever you want. It's on you. So now I got that part in there. I know mine is 180 degrees over, so I got to spin it over. I put, probably can't see it there, but I got a piece of blue tape right there on the center of my steering wheel to make sure I line that up straight as I go to pop the bottom end on the steering box. Slide this in here. I get out of the way of the light so you can see. Just got to get it lined up. Get it as close to vertical on the, there you go, come on. Get in there. Probably gonna have to use a long screwdriver like last time, or let's see, put this down through here. Get out the box. Get on the box. Go to your home. You too good for your home?
That's your home. Are you too good for your home? Answer me.
All right, let me fight with this to slide it on the box, and then we'll just put the bolt in and tighten it up. Okay, I got that in. Just took some silicone spray and a little bit of leverage from pry bar to pry back in there. I think the paint from this being refinished was kind of hanging me up a little bit there. Now there's one thing left to do. If your top piece was cocked the correct direction, you'll be able to do this from the top, but since mine isn't, I have to rotate the wheel over. So we still unlock, yeah. Oh yeah, there's no play in the steering wheel anymore. It's, woo. It's much tighter. Okay, so right there. Hang on, right. Where's my flashlight? So right there is a little T10 Torx bit on the Astro shaft. That just needs to be tightened up to, since it's a telescoping thing, and just kind of snug it up into place. And I didn't have a T10 Torx in my my Torx bit kit, which is pretty crazy. I thought I had everything. But luckily I had this kind of collapsible. Oh, I'm looking in the wrong spot. So this kind of, I don't know what you kind of call this, multi-torx bit tool I just happened to find in my toolbox. Uh-oh, there goes the charger. Okay, so there we go. That all is done. And now it would just be resumming the car, taking for a ride, making sure everything is all good. Now, I'll show you real quick, since I have it out, compare them together on the ground here a little bit so you can see. Old one, I'll turn this way. Got the old one here with this annoying cover on there and the rag joint that gets all sloppy versus pretty much it's solid and it telescopes. And so it takes all the play out of here. Also had a play up here in this joint here as well. Can't really grease that or anything like that. So, but you can see now just how much more room and everything there is right there. It's a straight shot pretty much from the steering wheel down to the steering box. So now, with that all being said, Astrovan shafts are getting hard to find now, and I didn't see, I mean, I checked Rock Auto and stuff like that, but I didn't see new steering shafts being able to be bought for an Astrovan to kind of get a new one to do it yourself. So if for whatever reason you run out of luck and you can't find an Astrovan shaft or someone that has it, Detroit Speed does have a little replacement steering shaft, but as with everything Detroit Speed, it is grossly overpriced. So do with that information as you were. But yeah, that is all I got for the video for you guys today. So apologies for the sniffles. Let me know if you have any questions. I had the information for that bearing, the replacement bearing, and the getting in contact with this dude down in the description. And yeah, that's all I got. So like, comment, subscribe for all that stuff, and I will see you guys next time.